Hello, hockey fans! Welcome back in to the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. The city of Boston, it might be known for its marathon, but the Bruins have been sprinting this season. The fastest team to 50 wins in NHL history. And they're taking on the Blackhawks tonight, which means that win number 51 is probably right around the corner. We will take a look at the Bruins, how they've gotten to this point this season, just how far we think they'll go, and is there anybody in the East in particular that might be able to stand up to them? Probably not the Hurricanes. They had some disappointing injury news come out earlier today that we will discuss. And then also, over on collegiate front, we've got the Big Ten tournament that is wrapping up, but then also we have the Women's Frozen Four this weekend. So lots to be discussing also in the collegiate realm as well. Plus our usual off-the-rails banter back and forth, all the craziness that you come to expect out of us here on Neutral Zone. Stay out of the boards and certainly stay out of the penalty box. Here we go. Hello and good evening, everyone. Once again, I am your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis is along with us tonight as well. We've got a full docket tonight in store for you on the Neutral Zone. We're going to be, of course, whipping you all around the NHL. Lots of games in action tonight. Some are just about finishing up, while a couple others are just barely underway in their process. So we'll get you caught up on all the scores around the NHL, getting ready for the final playoff push. And of course, as you heard in the open there, we're going to be discussing those Boston Bruins, David Pasternak's bunch. Just how far do we think they can go in this? Is there anybody that's going to be able to topple them? But we're also going to be talking college as well. We've got on the men's side, the Big Ten tournament is just wrapping up down to its last couple of schools. And also then on the women's side, we have got the Frozen Four going on in the women's national tournament. Ohio State, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Northeastern, the one non-Big Ten school in there, making it in the women's Frozen Four. So lots to be going over in that as well. Lots to do, lots to keep up with. Welcome on into the show. Zach, how you doing tonight, good sir?
Fantastic. How are you, Adam?
Well, it was an interesting start to the evening. I got home. I thought, I'll have time to get caught up on my notes, hockey, and just other, my goodness, my phone was exploding all day today with sports-related things. I'll have a chance to get caught up. No. My wife decided today was the day to get started on our taxes. Oh, my heavens.
Oh, no.
I had to take over for her. She had been sitting at the computer for 7.5 hours trying to get it all figured out. So it was, okay, I need to step in here and take a break before she breaks something.
Right.
So no, I wound up trying to deduct U.S. tax code, which is just so fun.
Right.
So I guarantee everybody in the chat room and you as well, you're definitely having better evenings than I am to this point.
Oy, yeah.
That's all right. All's
Good
well
old
that
taxes.
all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah.
That's the goal anyway. That's what we hope for anyway, is that this is all going to end well and life will be good. So,
yeah, there you go.
Well, as Zach, I know you love to whip us around the league, so while you pull up the scores, I will remind everybody, of course, that IE Sports Radio has been with everybody now for just about 9 years, and we continue to bring you the very best by the fans for the fans. And with your help, we are ready to take the next step. When you go over to our website, iesportsradio.com, Larry B has been doing such an amazing job of revamping and updating that, by the way. You'll see a link to our Patreon page. You can become a Patreon supporter of IE Sports Radio. Starts at just $5 a month. This gets you a shout-out on every single one of our shows. Shout-out now to Bay Area Raised, Emlos Great, Key to the Gate, and Anonymous. Higher tiers include access to our podcasting university, IE Sports Radio merchandise. If you're like Zach and myself, as we're getting ready for the summer months, a hat might be necessary. We've got those there. Or you can even get shouted out and have your own personal segment on The Defining Moment with Larry B, which, by the way, The Defining Moment is actually going to be coming to you now 3 days a week, not just one. He's going to be doing, instead of one long show in the morning, he's going to be doing 3 separate shorter shows during the week, so stay tuned for that. But then if you want to have your own segment with Larry B, talking whatever it is you want to talk about, the floor will be yours. Just hop on over to Patreon and support us. Patreon, iesportsradio.com, and then click on the Patreon link right there. IE Sports Radio is, of course, available for you on all the major social platforms at IE Sports Radio. That's where you'll find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Yes, Facebook is still a thing, as is Twitter, for that matter. We all thought Twitter was going to be dead. Ha! Ha! Reports of its death were highly exaggerated. This show is available for you on Twitter at IESR Neutral Zone. Zach is at The Pupless. I am at Adam_Karnick. And with that, I'm going to mute my mic so that Zach can get us caught up on all the scores.
Well, thank you, Adam. We'll start with your favorite team, who are actually leading the Bruins 1-0.
What?
Yeah.
Impossible. The scoreboard is lying.
Right. And you thought that was going to be a gimme for the Bruins. That's in the first period. About four minutes left to go in that period. My Red Wings are tied 0-0 with the Preds. They just started the second period. Jets and Hurricanes. Hurricanes are up 4-2 in the third. About 6 minutes to go in that one, 6.5. Rangers lead the Capitals 4-2 in the third. Just started that period. Lightning and Devils. Lightning lead the Devils 4-1. Just started the third a little bit ago. Golden Knights and Flyers 4-1 in the third. Canadians and Penguins. That's a close game, 5-4 in the third. And Senators and Oilers just started, tied 0-0. Yet to come tonight, we got Flames and Coyotes at 10, Stars and Canucks at 10, Islanders and Kings at 10:30, and Blue Jackets and Sharks at 10:30.
Sharks.
Right.
And we do want to say also, if you are listening live here tonight on the Spreaker app, hop on into the chat room. We have Taryn Rodriguez and Cale Henderson are there already. Taryn is of the opinion that he thinks the Bruins are going to find a way to mess this up in the postseason. I don't know. That's a tall order. I mean, Taryn, I'm going to throw this question out there to you, Taryn, and then Zach and I can react to it as well. Who would you see tripping up the Bruins at this point? We'll start there, but then we do want to dive into the Bruins a little bit because they did, over the weekend, become the fastest team in NHL history to get to the 50-win mark. They finally just suffered their 10th loss, ironically enough, Zach, to your Red Wings.
Woo!
Over the weekend. So, I mean, who would you see tripping up Boston? We'll start there, and then we'll dive into their ridiculous sprint of a
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought you were asking Taryn. Let's see. Maybe one of the teams in the West, but I think they're just head and shoulders above everybody else in the East. So maybe, Edmonton or LA or Vegas from the West, maybe Colorado. So I guess it would come. I mean, if we're saying somebody from the West, they would be in the Stanley Cup at that point in the final.
Yeah, I was gonna say if somebody from the East, I was thinking Carolina, but then the Hurricanes just had some terrible injury news earlier today. One of their top players, Andrei Svechnikov, he tore his ACL. He's excuse me.
Ooh.
He's done. He's obviously done for the rest of this season. He's going to be done probably for all of next season also.
Ugh. Yikes. All right, so who else in the East maybe then?
Taryn brings up three interesting teams. The Lightning, the Penguins, maybe. But he also brings up the Rangers. Now, of course, we know that the Rangers now have a special place for me because of Patrick Kane.
Aww.
But so I'm gonna step back for a second here. Do you? Because I think you can be a little more objective than I can right now regarding the Rangers. Can they legitimately pose a threat here to the Bruins?
Between those three, I would say the Lightning would pose the biggest threat. The Rangers did make a surprising run in the playoffs last year, behind I'm forgetting his name. Shesterkin. Is he the successor to King Henry?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shesterkin's amazing. Oh yeah, he's an amazing netminder. Yeah.
They had a surprising run, with him leading the way and making, crazy saves. So I'd go Tampa Bay. I think Pittsburgh has the pedigree for it, just because they're, they have such a history of success and such good players. And then of those three, I would put New York last, unless they do it again like they did last year, like catching lightning in a bottle and making it to like the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever.
Okay. So looking at I'm pulling up the standings right now because, of course, how everything lines up for the wild card can be instructional and helpful with this too. So as we're looking at it, so we'll do this, and then I do want to dive into why Boston has just been amazing this season. So as we're sitting here, obviously Boston's atop the Atlantic. Boston's going to be, they're probably going to win the President's Trophy. They're going to be the number one overall in the Eastern Conference. So they'll get the lesser of the two wildcard teams. You've got Toronto and Tampa are locked right now as the 2 and 3 in the Atlantic. And Tampa's got a comfortable 11-point lead on the Florida Panthers. So at this point, you're talking 15 games left to go. I feel comfortable that those three are where they are. Do you agree with that assessment, Zach, that those three are going to be the three that Toronto and Tampa Bay might flip-flop as 2 and 3, but they're going to be locked in as the top 3 in the Atlantic? Is that safe to say, you think?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Then we've got in the Metropolitan, Carolina and New Jersey are tied right now at 94. Technically, Carolina is ahead because they've played one fewer game, but excuse me. Obviously, that's a tiebreaker that would go away once the season is finished. If they were to finish the regular season tied, it would actually go to New Jersey. Would get the as things sit right now, New Jersey would actually be in the driver's seat for the division. They've got the better row score. The regulation and overtime wins, non-shootout wins, is why New Jersey would get the tiebreaker there. And then you've got the Rangers behind 10 points behind them and 6 points in front of Pittsburgh for third. Is it safe to say that those three are going to be the three in the Metro, you think? I feel like Carolina and New Jersey obviously are safe at 1 and 2. They might flip-flop. Do you think the Rangers are safe as 3, or is only a 6-point lead in front of Pittsburgh, could that disappear? They've still got, both teams have 16 games left to play.
I'm with you. I think the first two are pretty much locks, but the Rangers lead might disappear.
Okay, so Pittsburgh could come up and catch the Rangers. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you've got the Island. So right now the Penguins and the Islanders would be the 2 wild card teams. Florida's only 3 points out of a wild card spot at this point, and Buffalo and Washington are only 5 points out of a wild card spot. Right now, 76 points is what the Islanders have for the final wild card spot. How many points of a lead at this point would you say is safe? Because I could keep going, rattling off teams, but that gets, you're listening to me reading a list, and that can get kind of boring.
Right. Let's go 10 or 15 points.
Ooh, 10 points. Okay. If you're needing okay. Oh boy.
Let's take 10.
Then your Red Wings are still very much alive. And you know what? I don't disagree with that statement. So you've got then Florida, Buffalo, Washington, Ottawa, and Detroit are still all very much in contention and alive for a wild card spot at this point. Detroit's at 69 points. The Islanders are at 76. So that's just a 7-point spread between them. So things very the wild card is going to be interesting, and also then the Rangers as the number 3 spot in the Metropolitan. That's very precarious at this point. So I could see where you'd say the Rangers would objectively have the worst shot at taking off Boston. I see where you're coming from with that. All right. I can follow along with that. My heart very much wants to pull for the Rangers, and they're beating the Capitals right now, the Ovechkin-less Capitals, by the way. But, pardon me, can't get to the cough button fast enough. But I see where you're saying that the Rangers, of the 3 there, they'd be the team. They would be the ones probably least apt to overtake Boston in the East. So we're looking at either Tampa or maybe Pittsburgh. So we don't think Toronto's got any chance at overtaking Boston. We don't like the Maple Leafs' chances of doing the unthinkable and winning a series.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I'm there with you on that.
It's like that meme that's like, name a better duo than Kim Kardashian and whoever her flavor of the week is. And it's like, oh, how about the Toronto Maple Leafs and losing in the first round?
Always losing in the first round. Yes, indeed.
Well,
indeed.
I look. The reason I said that about like Pittsburgh, again, they've got the pedigree for it, and they've got the core of players that have played with each other for so long. Evgeny and so on. So I think that's why I would trust Pittsburgh more so over the Rangers at the moment. Like I said, unless they catch lightning in the bottle again like they did last year.
I can follow along. I hear you on that. I don't disagree. We'll put it like that. I hear where you're coming from with all that. Okay. So let's talk about these Bruins for a little bit. fastest team in NHL history to get 50 wins. They just needed 64 games. The record had been set well enough by your Red Wings back in 95-96. Tampa Bay Lightning tied it a few years ago, but now they've been eclipsed. They've also, the Bruins, they've become the first team this season to clinch a playoff berth. Why is Boston so damn good this season?
Wow. Good question. I'm reading through this here. I
mean, the first thing to me that comes to mind is Pasternak, David Pasternak. Just sorry, can't get to the cough button.
Sure,
he is just having such an absurdly good season. You know, we talk about guys like McDavid and Draisaitl all the time in scoring. He's okay. He's not McDavid. McDavid's otherworldly right now, but he's right up there with every NHL scorer not named Connor McDavid. If that makes sense, you know, in a race where it's, let's face it, the competition's for the silver medal, Pasternak's the guy that is right in there in that race for overall points, and he's not that far behind McDavid when it comes to goals. I mean, he is second in the NHL in goals scored this season. It's remarkable to me the year that Pasternak is having this season, especially just, you know, he's not exactly a spring chicken. You know, he's got almost 600 games in his NHL career. It, you know, goes back to what the 14-15 season was his first year in the NHL. This is just a remarkable renaissance from him.
Yeah. Well, you know, we talked about Pittsburgh having possibly a good chance to knock him off because of their core. You know, Gunny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, so on. Well, you know, Boston's the same way. Like, not only Pasta, but they got Brad Marchand and Patrice Bergeron. And I guess, you know, everybody's just playing up to their potential and then some.
Yeah, it's just been a remarkable year for the Bruins. Now I want to pull. I'm getting my scores mixed up here, so I'm wanting to pull up and see exactly for Boston, because if I remember correctly, did they have a head-to-head? Yes, they did have a head-to-head with Detroit. So it was they beat Detroit to get to the 50 wins, and then turned around and lost to Detroit the following game to suffer their 10th loss. Do I have that right there? Am I reading all that correctly?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah, they had everything all built up to tie or, you know, beat the record, and then they just kind of okay, pressure's off. All right, now we can relax a little, and they let their guard down, maybe.
Yeah, or it was just as simple as they had all that energy built up to trying to get to 50, and then it was, you could exhale and oh, okay, we have to turn around and play again. Damn. Okay. All right. We'll be fine.
Right. I'm reading a brief interview with Brad Marchand, and here we go. So, ESPN, the Bruins have been incredible this season, challenging regular season records. What is it about this team that's clicked so well? Marchand talks about the ton of depth. The guys are really buying into the roles. Something in our management and our organization that put a ton of effort and emphasis on is to bring in guys who want to be a part of a winning culture. They want to compete. They want to work. They want to get better, and they're just good people. He thinks it starts there. He talks about Coach Jim Montgomery coming in, giving him a new, refreshing look to the group. Some of the younger guys kind of eased up a little bit, are feeling good about themselves. Have a deep team that can make a good run. That's always what you need. Young guys that are able to thrive and do well. We have that this year with guys that are really broken out of their shell. Trent Frederick is having a really good year. Connor Clifton has come into his own. So the depth we have has really pushed us to win a lot of games. Then he talks about Linus Allmark, David Pasternak, David Krejci. Yeah. Oh, and the GM, Don Sweeney, made a good deal, absolutely incredible deal for Hampus Lindholm last season. Absolutely stole him away from, Taryn, Anaheim. And he turned out to be an absolute stud. They have that belief. They have what guys that want to win, and a lot of older guys on the team that want to have a good run. Everybody's just excited.
And this is all being done with a first-year head coach, too. You know, it's easy to forget. They fired Bruce Cassidy last year. Jim Montgomery's is in his first year with the team, and they're exceeding expectations feels like a gross understatement of what this team has done this season.
Yeah. Here, this goes on to talk about Montgomery. Marchand said that Montgomery brought in a level of accountability to the team, but also brought back a sense of joy to the Bruins. So he's asking Marchand about it. Marchand, that's also easy when you're winning as much as we are. It's always fun to know that every game you have a good opportunity. But it didn't start that way. We came into camp. We weren't really sure how it was going to play out and what kind of team we were going to be. Well, once we start winning, you get on a roll. Confidence in this game is such a dangerous thing. It can be really detrimental if you don't have confidence. And if you do, it can just propel you. We got it early and it bled through the team. You brought up the accountability piece. Started really early on. Jim keeps guys accountable every day. And it's everybody. A lot of coaches will kind of harp on the third, fourth line guys, but he is all over everyone to take care of the details. That's good because when you get in the playoffs, those are the things that matter, and they can win you or lose you a game.
It's remarkable. And the Bruins are on pace to put up 133 points this season. That would be an NHL record. That would put them one more point than the 76-77 Montreal Canadiens. So it's remarkable what the Bruins are achieving this season. There's certainly going to be a lot of fun to keep up with here over the final couple weeks of the regular season, and then as we get ready for the postseason. Obviously, nobody's going to be looking forward to facing them, certainly in the first round. The second and third rounds in the East are going to be very interesting to see what kind of a threat Boston poses for them. All right, let's take our first break. Let's take a quick break here. And then when we come back, let's shift over and let's talk some college, shall we? Let's talk. I know you talked some about the Big Ten tournament last week. That's not quite done yet. We've also got the women's tournament that started over the weekend and is down to the Frozen Four. So let's get caught up on some college hockey. You are listening to the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam and Zach will be right back with you right after this.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide through your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics. It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Are you a fan of Buffalo sports? Are you thinking of changing loyalties and becoming a Buffalo sports fan? Do you even know where Buffalo is on the map? Did you know Canada is closer to Buffalo than New York City? Welcome to the Buffalo Huddle, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Patty Bax. This is a podcast designed for you, the passionate sports fan. I know you love your sports. Who doesn't? I cover Buffalo sports and so much more by bringing in the human elements. I call it Buffalo Sports with a Twist. Join me as we take a journey into the world of Buffalo sports. I guarantee you'll fall in love with Buffalo just like I did. Each week we start with an inspiration, question of the day, a Buffalo fun fact, and our weekly challenge to you, the listener. Come huddle up with me every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 4 p.m. Pacific Coast Time for the Buffalo Huddle with Patty Bax on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. As we say in Buffalo, go Bills!
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter, at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter. At any time, be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone, everybody. I'm your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis along with us. And as soon as we are done here tonight, we will be turning things over to Cale Henderson of Sin City Sports, getting us all caught up in the world of Las Vegas sports. I'm sure he's going to be talking about the Golden Knights as they are currently sitting right now as we pull up all the scores, as I reset myself here a little bit. The Golden Knights, they beat the Flyers 5-3 tonight. I'm sure he'll have some good recap and analysis from that, and he'll take his mind off of the horribleness that is the Las Vegas Raiders. So we talked a lot of NHL and the Boston Bruins there in the first segment. Now we want to switch over and look at the collegiate level. We've got the Big Ten men's tournament that is just wrapping up, and then also the women's Frozen Four is set, and we know how that is going to be arranged. Zach, get us caught up. I know you talked quite a bit last week. Get us caught up on where things are at for the Big Ten men's tournament right now.
Sure. For the Big Ten, they just had the semifinals this past weekend on Saturday. Michigan defeated Ohio State in one semifinal, 7-3, and Minnesota defeated Michigan State 5-1 in the other semifinal. So Michigan and Minnesota will meet for the championship this upcoming Sunday, March 18th. Minnesota is the number one seed, and Michigan is number 2 seed. So it'll take place at Minneapolis. Let's see. For the Michigan Ohio State game, trying to find the box scores here. Oh, wow. Here we go. Looks like they got some goals for U of M. They got goals from Gavin Brindley, Seamus Casey, Mackie Samoskevich. Ohio State got a goal from Jake Wise, Travis Triolar, Cam Theising. U of M also got goals from Rutger McGrody, Adam Fantilli. He's like a Hobie Baker finalist, I think, as well as Jackson Hallam. Oh, Adam Fantilli got 2, actually. That was for Michigan and for Ohio State. Let's see if we can find the one for Michigan State. I thought we might have had a chance, but looking at that score, clearly we didn't. 5-1. Brutal.
Yeah. Sparty's usually a very strong team, but occasionally they run into one on occasion.
Well, and that was actually the first in terms of like whether it was CCHA tournament or Big Ten tournament. Like that was the first like series we'd won in the conference tournament. MSU got a goal from Jeremy Davidson on a power play. And then Minnesota got a goal from Jackson Nelson on the power play. All 4 other Minnesota goals were at even strength. John Middlestat, Aaron Huglin, Logan Cooley. Logan Cooley got 2, looks like. So, it should be a good matchup coming next Sunday. And as soon as that's over with, they're going to have the selection show for the NCAA hockey tournament.
Very nice. Very, very, very nice. And then speaking of the NCAA, so while the men's selection is going to be coming up soon, the women's tournament has already begun. And in fact, they're all the way down to the Frozen Four over on the women's side. We've got the the defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes are still alive, as well as Wisconsin and Minnesota, both from the Big Ten, and then Northeastern are also alive at this point. We'll round out here how everybody got into their current spot. We're going to have the Frozen Four, the matchups for such are going to be, as I get it pulled up and make sure that I've got it up here correctly.
Oh, while you do that, I misspoke. The last game is March 18th, so it's a Saturday, and then the selection, I forget whether that's Saturday or if that's Sunday. But let me find out.
So it'll be Ohio and on the women's side, it's going to be Ohio State taking on Northeastern on one side, and then Minnesota and Wisconsin will be competing on the other side of the bracket in the Frozen Four. So we've got for Ohio State, they got to this point. They beat Quinnipiac 5-2 to get to this spot. Gabby Rosenthal, Lauren Bernard, Sophie Zek, and also added a couple of goals to get to that point. Quinnipiac had defeated Penn State earlier. That game took triple overtime, so Quinnipiac was a little gassed, suffice to say, heading into that match against Ohio State. Northeastern beat Yale to get to this point. Chloe Arand, Alina Mueller, Maureen Murphy all had multiple points. They each had a goal and an assist in the game against Yale. And then Gwyneth Phillips made 38 saves in Northeastern's 4-1 win over Yale. Gets them into the Frozen Four. Wisconsin pulled off an upset, knocking off Colgate 4-2. That came after a 9-1 victory the round before that against LIU. Casey O'Brien had a goal and an assist for Wisconsin, and then Vivia Jungles and Layla Edwards both scored goals in the third period to help knock off Colgate. And then as for the Minnesota Gophers, they took out Minnesota Duluth 3-0 on their way to the Frozen Four. Madeline Wethington had 2 points, and Abby Murphy and Katie Skaja added goals in the third period as well, while Skylar Vetter had the shutout, 30 saves in the shutout. The Frozen Four is in Duluth. So for University of Minnesota, the Gophers will be closest to home. They're not gonna quite be home for the match, but they'll be the ones closest to home. Ohio State, the number 1 seed and number 2 seeds, are still alive in this tournament, but it's possible we could see some upsets. The semifinal games are on Friday. The championship then is Sunday afternoon. This is probably cliche of me, and it's probably boring, but I think ultimately it's going to be right. I'll take Ohio State to win it there. I think They're the defending champs. They're the number 1 seed. They've seemingly been the strongest team in the collegiate women's game all season long. I'll take the Buckeyes in that one. That's my leaning on this one as we're looking at the women's Frozen Four here.
I'll go Minnesota A.
You're gonna go with the home team there? Go for the number two seed. I guess that would it technically would be an upset, 2-1.
Right. They're the most Canadian part of the U.S. So there you go.
As the husband of a Minnesotan, them's fighting words to they're not Southern Canada. They take a lot of pride in not being Southern Canada. But
I was going to say Canada Light, but whatever.
Canada Light, Southern Canada, it all works. It equates to the same thing. But
love that meme. It's like Canada, it's just America's hat.
Yeah. No, not really, but we like to have fun like it is. We pretend like it is sometimes.
Would you like to hear some Frozen Four predictions from the men's side? Who they think might make it?
Absolutely, yes, please.
Excuse me. So Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. This is so great. This says that the Golden Gophers are just lethal in every way. Offense. They've got freshman Logan Cooley, who's scored a couple goals against Michigan State. Jimmy Snookerud. And then Matthew Neese as well. No team can match that 3-headed monster. They have big-time two-way threats on defense in Jackson Lacombe and Brock Faber. And Justin Close has had a strong season in net, ranking 4th in save percentage on .928. Gophers have benefited.
That's good.
Yeah. Benefit of going up against stiff competition each weekend as the Big Ten turned out to be the nation's deepest and strongest conference this season. Denver is another possibility. They won the title last year. We're always talking about Nita Ryder.
My favorite hockey name ever.
Right. Well, this one's Massimo Rizzo and Magnus Corona.
He has a really big head, right?
Right, yeah. They both play for Denver. Massimo Rizzo has taken off even more as a sophomore with 46 points in 36 games. Let's see. In net, Magnus Corona, so he's the goalie, is still solid, capable of stealing a game. The reigning national champs are also battle-tested coming out of the NCHC. They're 3rd in the rankings. And they have quality wins against Western Michigan, St. Cloud, Notre Dame, and even Alaska and Omaha. Denver's been there before and knows how to win. Let's see. They got Michigan in the list, Boston University. Also in the mix, Quinnipiac, Western Michigan, Harvard, St. Cloud State. Broncos.
Notre Dame have any chance at a run there?
They're not on the list anyways. I think from what I was reading last week, because they lost to State, they had that very first round of the Big Ten tournament was a best of 3 series, and State beat them 2 out of the 3 to move on. I think that knocked them off the bubble.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see about Western here. Broncos are 9th in the rankings. They've been on a tear in the second semester, winning 11 of 14. Jason Poland has been otherworldly as his 29 goals lead the nation. And he and Ryan McAllister's 45 points each rank near the top as well. Cameron Rowe has gotten the job done in net, even though his numbers aren't sparkling. Yeah. And then their national championship prediction is Minnesota. Not the trendiest pick, going with the team sitting atop the poll and the rankings. but they've been my pick all season, and I still have total faith, he says.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things in collegiate hockey. I'm going to pick Minnesota to win. Oh, you're really going out on a limb, aren't you there?
Oh, my gosh, right? He says they're the complete package. They've proven they could beat quality opponents, and the coach will have the Gophers playing their best hockey down the stretch as they did all last year.
Yeah, it's only the state of hockey, after all. You would expect that Minnesota and Minnesota Duluth would be in the running for any college hockey title there.
Well, not just them, but so Minnesota Duluth, Minnesota State, St. Cloud State, Bemidji State,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, plenty of good options there for quality hockey. If you're in Minnesota, you are not lacking for quality hockey on a nightly basis.
No, not at all.
All right, so we've got just a couple of minutes here left before we turn things over to Cale Henderson. Let's take a quick peek back over at the NHL scoreboard here. We'll just worry about the finals. We've got a couple of games still going on, but let's just look at the finals real quick here. Penguins, well, their playoff chances got hurt a little bit tonight. They lost 6-4 against the Canadiens. The Lightning got a much-needed win against the Devils, 4-1. Golden Knights, we mentioned, they beat the Flyers 5-3. The Philadelphia Flyers. Did you see last week that they fired their general manager?
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, they now are operating with an interim general manager. But they're not tearing down. They're just it's not a fire sale. They're just retooling a little bit. Sure, you go right ahead and convince us of that. I'm sure Cash and Chris are very convinced of that there in Philadelphia.
Tortorella last year. It's only his first or second year.
His first year there, yeah. His first
give
year.
a chance.
It might be his only season there.
Oof.
The Rangers beat the Alexander Ovechkin-less Capitals 5-3, and then the Hurricanes got a much-needed win 5-3 over the Jets. So the Hurricanes got a very important 2 points to put themselves 2 points in front of the New Jersey Devils to sit atop the Metro Division as we sit here with 15-ish games left to go in the regular season. 14, 15, depends on who you're talking about, but roughly 14 to 16 games left for everybody at this point in the season.
Yes.
I was just looking through, see if anything else of note there jumping out at me at any of these particular box scores. Oh, go figure. Zibanejad scored a couple of times for the Rangers. Go figure. What a shock. Mika Zibanejad scoring. Let's see for the Hurricanes. A lot of Jesperi Kotkaniemi was the big scorer. He scored twice, but other than that, nobody else had more than one for the Hurricanes. Our guy Nino Niederreiter did score for the Jets, so there is that.
Nino.
So that is basically going to do it for our show here tonight. Before we sound the horn, though, I do want to. I put this out here on Chi-Town Weekly last night, but I wanted to say it here as well. And I know, Zach, you know this a little bit, but I'll just remind our audience. I'm actually going to be out the next couple of weeks for sure, as we're going to be adding a baby to the Karnick household. The due date is next Monday, and he's apparently holding out until then. So, Zach, you're going to be holding down the fort here for the next few weeks.
Well, you are on baby watch.
Yeah, well, I will. There will be lots of baby watching and no sleeping.
Baby watch 2023.
Well,
congratulations.
Thank you. That's the perfect way to sound the horn, too. Baby watch 2023. So yeah, I will be out the next couple of weeks, but still tune in as Zach is going to be doing an awesome job holding it down. Zach, what can we expect from the next few weeks from you?
We'll keep posted on the results of the Big Ten Hockey Tournament, as well as go through the bracket on the NCAA side when that gets revealed next Sunday. We'll keep you guys posted on Boston and see how, if they're just going to run away with it and get up to the, what'd you say, 130 they could get? 130 points?
133 would be the record.
Whew. Yeah, we'll see how close they get to a record. And what else? See who's going to get those last couple wild card spots. Yeah, I mean, like where we're looking at it, there's quite a bunch of different teams all lined up right there in that slot for those wild card spots, in both conferences. So, and any kind of fun and exciting news and hilarious stories. If anybody's going to beat each other with a prosthetic leg or whatever.
Oh God, yes, we need more prosthetic leg fights. And then that'll get us into the playoffs, basically.
Yeah, I thought all the fighting was supposed to be on ice, but sometimes it just goes over in your cracks.
Those are the best ones.
Right.
So until then, that's what you've got looking forward to here on the Neutral Zone. Coming up next here on IE Sports Radio, though, it's going to be Cale Henderson and Sin City Sports breaking down all things Las Vegas Golden Knights, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sure there's other stuff he's going to be talking about as well, probably some UNLV hoops. We are the Neutral Zone. He is Zach Pumplis. I am Adam Karnick. Want to say thank you to Larry B. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters, Emily Straight, and Anonymous. Oh, and Bay Area Raised. Thank you to Karen Rodriguez and to Cale Henderson for hanging out with us in the chat room. For Zach Pumplis, I am Adam Karnick. We are the Neutral Zone. Until next time, don't be checking the board, stand on the penalty box, and be sure to protect the 5-hole. We will see you next time, everybody. Have a good night.